Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and we are here with another day in the life of a mobile mechanic video. So these are pretty popular videos, and if you haven't seen them before, check out the other ones, check out the channel, and subscribe if you like what you see. So we're here, we've got this old UPS truck, USPS truck, that we have converted into a mobile mechanic shop. And today we've got a few jobs. It's pretty cold outside, middle of January here. You can see the mountains over there. They've got snow on them, but there's no snow over here. So a couple things today, about 3 or 4 jobs, and just a busy day. So I'm also in college out here, and today's a holiday, so I'm trying to get a lot done. We'll hop up in here and get started. All right, this is kind of where I just throw my tools that I've been using. Yeah, kind of the disorganized section of the truck. In the evenings when I just grab a random tool and throw it back in for the next morning. So we'll clean this up and we'll hit the road. And got a bit of frost on the windshield. Ooh. All right. Well, recently we went on a long trip, and there's a parasitic draw in this truck, which isn't a problem because I drive it every day, so the battery stays charged. Well, I kind of figured the batteries were going to die when we left on that trip. They did, so I just had them charged at the auto parts store. I got it running, but it wasn't long enough to keep them charged. And then the next time I went to start it, it was cold, and I put 2 jump boxes on the batteries, and it wouldn't start. So I took the batteries in and got them charged up, and it ran fine the other night. I guess the batteries are completely toasted, so there's not even, the lights aren't even coming on. There's nothing on. The interior lights are all off and everything, but these are LEDs, they won't even come on, so these batteries are toasted. Well, they're from Costco. They've got a 3-year warranty, so I guess we'll run to Costco first thing this morning and get these batteries warrantied, get some new batteries for this truck, and then we'll hit the road here in a bit. Luckily today nothing is a set schedule. These 3 jobs I have are, I think they're all college students or people who aren't using their cars today. One of them's at work actually, so it's just sitting at this parking lot at work until 5, and I do a lot of stuff like that. So I'm not in a rush to get out this morning. I was just going to get stuff done early, but that's not going to happen. So we'll get these batteries swapped out, warrantied out, and then we'll be back here in a minute hitting the road. So here we go. All right, in this mail truck, the batteries are underneath the step here. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I just took them out the other day, so I haven't even put these back on. Just because I was just running it the other night. I actually bought a new project truck, and I used this to pull it off of the car dolly with some help. So I haven't even, I mean, I guess that's good because these are just coming right back out. Yeah, I mean, these are good batteries. It's that parasitic draw, and then I guess it's been so constant, and the fact that they completely died after they've probably just been having a rough couple of years. It looks like they're about 1.5 years old, 2 years old. What's that? Oh yeah, almost 2 years old. Probably just from having that consistent parasitic draw over the past 2 years. Was just a little rough on them. Then when they completely died this time, they didn't want to make it back from that. So that's all right. I do want to I'll just take the opportunity. I do want to upgrade these because I have a charging system and an inverter hooked up to these batteries as well. But with just these short little ones, I don't have enough grab on those to hook everything up. So I'll get some longer bolts here for those batteries. There's one. And there's 2. All right, we'll go grab the Rescue Ranger and take these over to Costco and warranty them, since obviously a day ago I had these fully charged on some quick chargers at the auto parts store. And yeah, I mean, normally, like I said, I have a charger system and inverter hooked up to this, wired straight into the batteries typically. And I just plugged this thing into the charger if I know I'm not going to drive it for a day or two, but even then a couple of days doesn't kill it. It usually takes about a week or two. So this is unexpected. All right, we got those new batteries. They warrantied those out for us, so it still only has the original warranty, but I mean, I'm pretty happy that I get new batteries for the next 2 years and I don't have to worry about it again. Then we'll get these installed and we'll hit the road. We've got the first vehicle. I'll go ahead and tell you while I'm installing these. The first vehicle has a rough idle. So he said while he's idling, it shakes pretty hard and the check engine light blinks. So it sounds a lot like a misfire. I was thinking vacuum leak until he said the check engine light blinks when he just said rough idle, but he said the car shakes. So it sounds like it's going to be a misfire. We'll diagnose that misfire. I'm going to get these batteries in real quick and then we'll hit the road and go check that out. It's just across town. All right, that's good to go. I didn't get those longer bolts because they don't have them at Costco, so I'll just pick some up at AutoZone, and I'll connect that inverter and charger up later. That way I can obviously keep this battery nice and charged. Again, I put it on a trickle charger at night since there's a little bit of a draw in there, but these batteries should be good for another 2 years at least, so that's great. All right, so cylinder 6 misfire, vent control valve. These are those valves that can cause issues. So we'll do swapperoos on the coil pack and spark plugs on cylinder 6 and see. So we'll figure out, make sure we get the right cylinder 6. All right, so we've got cylinder 6 misfiring. I'm just gonna double check at cylinder 6. Some manufacturers count their cylinders differently. I'll also verify on the internet, but just in case, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to start it. It should be idling rough, and then I'm going to unplug coil pack 6, and it shouldn't change. If it gets rougher, then something else is causing the issue. If it stays the same, then obviously that one's not working. So see here, it's not too rough yet. Let me put it in drive and see if I can exaggerate that. Is that what it normally feels like? All right, so right now it's idling fine, maybe just because it's cool. I unplugged coil pack 6, it ran rougher, but it didn't feel like it had a misfire before. So what I'm gonna do is do some swapperoo up here. I'm gonna take coil pack 6 and put it over here on number 4, and then I'm gonna take the spark plug and switch it out with number 2. So spark plugs will be switched between these two, coil packs will be switched between these two, and then we'll know if it switches to here, it's coil pack. If it switches to there, it's spark plug. So 6 should be fine. After that, we'll see where the misfire goes. And the misfire is held to one cylinder. If it was a random misfire, then, you know, it could be something else like one of these solenoids or a vacuum leak, but I don't hear a vacuum leak, and it's not a consistent misfire since it was running fine just now. So it's not a vacuum leak. We'll figure out if it's that coil pack or that spark plug by doing the swap. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. Most likely it's going to swap to cylinder number 4 and be that coil based off of the condition of those spark plugs. Just being mobile and just the different challenges that presents owning a mobile shop. I'm not going to do a compression test on that cylinder right now. Sometimes these Nissans, these 3.5s, they'll get low compression kind of all around, or specific cylinders when those valves wear out, and it's a common issue. So that could be the problem, or it could be running fine regardless of having slightly low compression. So right now what he's going to do is just drive the car, and we're going to see if that check engine light, that misfire code switches to cylinder number 4, which is the most likely outcome. If it does, then he's probably going to replace that coil pack himself. And then if it stays on cylinder number 6, we'll be back to do more diagnosing. So it could be valves, could be that vent valve, or it could be intake or exhaust valves on the head itself. It could be compression, carbon buildup on those valves. It could be worn out rings. So that's just something we'll come back and do later. Again, he's just here in town, and that wouldn't be additional charge. So he's going to drive it now. If it swaps to number 4, that's going to be the service call diagnosis fee. If it stays on number 6, then we'll be back out to do the complete diagnosis, and then we'll charge him at that point. So that's kind of how that works. Typically about $80, $100 max to do a service call out diagnosis. Unless it's something like a super in-depth diagnosis, then we'll charge by the hour. So yeah, that's that. Well, probably one of the most common questions I get is where I got this truck. I got it on Facebook Marketplace, and it costs $6,500. So it's got 64,000 miles on it. I had 62 when I bought it. And that's that. So we're gonna head back home, and in a minute we have 2 more jobs already today. So I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and then we'll head back out and do those other jobs this afternoon. All right, next thing for today, we had one of the plants cancel on us because the guy had work. So we're gonna do that and on Wednesday night. Today's Monday, and we're gonna try and get this new project started. So this is a new truck I picked up the other day. The only thing weird about it is I don't have the key for the gas cap, which I didn't realize there was one before I drove off with it. It doesn't have AC. The old truck I used to have had AC, and these ACs blow cold because the cab's so small. It just gets nice and cold in there, so that'll be a bummer. But I think for the plans I had for it anyways, AC might have gotten in the way. So that gives you any clues as to what I'm thinking about doing. But we're gonna see if this will start. Supposedly it runs, but I didn't even start it before I drove off. So here we go. There we go. Had to strap that to the chassis. Well, it runs, and that fuel pump sounds terrible, but it runs. So we'll put some work into it, and yeah, we should have a good truck here. I know these engines like the back of my hand, so that's promising. That it's got some noise in the transmission, so I'm gonna make sure everything's all right with that. And when I pull it out, I'll probably just I don't know if I'll take it apart. I may pull it out. I may pull it apart and look at all the gears. Yeah, so we'll see. But the engine runs, and it ran rough, but it could be that fuel pump issue, could be a vacuum leak. We'll figure that out later. All right, I just had lunch. Here we are in the Rescue Ranger. I'm just going to take this Rescue Ranger across town because this should be a pretty simple diagnosis. I'm going to stop by AutoZone and see if they have a power probe. I've been wanting to get a power probe, but what I've been doing lately is actually just hooking little cables up to this jump pack and powering things. So this vehicle, it's a Volkswagen Jetta, and it's not blowing any air out of the vents, hot or cold, no air. So it's probably the blower motor. So I'm going to be looking for a fuse, and I'm going to be testing power at the blower motor to make sure that that works. So we'll get my test light, and again, if I can find a power probe, that would be useful to actually provide power to that motor to see if it's working or not. But again, I can just plug in that jump box if I don't find a power probe over here. And yeah, one thing I've been meaning to order, but every time it comes up, it seems like I have forgotten about it, and then I need it, and obviously like the same day. So we'll head over here and get this diagnosed, and it's just across town, so we're taking the Ranger over here real quick since it's I just need a little handful of tools to go with me. Alright, so here we are. We're in this Jetta here. The fan's not working, so I'll go ahead and turn the key on. And we don't have anything here, so we're going to test the switch. Pretty simple way to do that is to just turn the AC on. So when we flip that switch over, the AC is trying to come on for defrost. So, or just AC, you can put it on defrost or whatever. So yeah, that's a good test for that switch there. Obviously you can see the light corresponding with that switch coming on. The resistor, if the resistor's bad, sometimes it'll work on 1, 2, and 3 and not 4, or vice versa. We don't have any fan on any of. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna test the fuses over here. I've got a test light that tests resistance. So we're gonna pop over here to the fuse panel and swap some fuses out. We'll test the fuses first, and then we'll test for power at the blower motor. So I'll check in after I dig around at these fuses over here and figure out which one's which. Anyways, I've got this neat little fuse tester here. I'm just gonna go ahead and test all the fuses since I don't feel like looking up a diagram. It's gonna take the same amount of time, and then I'll be able to test all the fuses anyways. With this, you just put it up against those, and the light glows green if there's connection, so you can see that. All right, all those fuses looked fine. The light came on for all of them. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the blower motor now. And hopefully I don't need to get through the glove box to get it, because that might be tricky to open up with a busted handle. So I'll figure that out. All right, so now I'm under here. You can see the blower motor. It's right here. You can see the connector for it. So we should have a positive and negative here, power and ground. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and switch this on. And I'm going to check for continuity with this continuity tester here and make sure that we're getting power to that motor. If we're getting power to it, then the motor is going to be bad. If we're not getting power to it, it may be that resistor, and I'll go back down the line towards that. Okay, so if you can see that, we've got 12 volts continuity there. We'll go ahead and test it by turning off the fan. We turned it off, back on, back off. So we're getting power, and that fan's still not going, so it's gonna be that blower motor itself. And there you have it. That's a diagnosis well done. We'll head on to the next job, and thanks for watching. All right, yeah, roadside rescue, Ellen. Roadside rescue. All right, so we're here for the last job today. It's just about to get dark, and I'm gonna go with Mr. Mac here because he's been dying to go to the store all day. So he's coming with me. I know exactly what we need for this last job. In fact, I just need 2 tools, and they're right here. So we've got a customer at the belt that's screaming at him, squealing. So we're gonna replace the tensioner in the belt for him, and yeah, it's pretty simple. So we got the 2 tools we need for it. We got a toolkit just in case. So we're gonna go pick up that tensioner and that belt at the auto parts store. It's ordered in, it's here. And then we're gonna head across town, replace that for him. And Mac's gonna come with me, so he'll just watch us show in the car. It's gonna be about a 10-minute job. And here we go, we'll head out. Water on the belt and it stops leaking, then it's the belt or the tensioner and not a different pulley. So just gonna make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's that belt. So I have both the belt and the tensioner. So Yeah. Yeah, I think it's... Oh yeah, corrosion. Okay, so I squirt some water on there and it stopped squeaking. It was pretty consistent squeaking coming from here, so I'm gonna probably replace that tensioner. I'm gonna feel it though. It's hard to tell by feel, but just you know, just double check it. I'm gonna feel it and see if it feels like it's worn out, but it's probably gonna get a new tensioner regardless. So let's go grab a 15mm wrench. We'll need that, and we'll take this right out of here. All right, so we got the old belt here. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it out. I lost my serpentine belt tool, so I'm gonna get another one, but there's like a really thin wrench that slides down in these spaces. So definitely gonna get another one of those. There's the old belt. That's completely worn out, so we'll replace this tensioner as well. It looks like the tension on it was pretty loose, and they have the same service interval. So all right, that tensioner is just held in with one bolt. Pretty simple design. One tensioner, or one pulley, idler pulley had to come out of the way, and one tensioner bolt, and we're almost out of here. So I'm gonna loosen that up and we'll get it out. All right, there's the serpentine. I mean, there's the tensioner and the tensioner pulley. It's one unit. All right, so that new one's going in there. It's got a notch. We just want to make sure that notch gets in place. That sets the tensioner in its correct location. And I'm going to tighten it down as much as I can by hand, and then we'll use a wrench. All right, I got the idler pulley back in place. It's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and route this belt up, and you're not going to be able to see much because I'm going to have both hands tucked in there. So I'll show you when it's done. Okay. Yeah. No more squeaking. All right, we just got done. If you can see me, it's starting to snow outside. It's pretty cold, and we're just heading across town. We just got done, and I knew I needed 2 wrenches to do that job. A 15mm was one of them. Oh, and Mac was eating a sucker, he says. And a 15mm is one of those wrenches that I needed. Well, I got over there and I looked and I grabbed a 16mm wrench. I had a toolkit that had pretty much everything in it except for a 15 and a 14mm wrench as well. So I asked the guy whose car I was working on. Well, I just told him, I was like, I'm gonna go grab the right size wrench. And he said, oh, I probably have that size wrench. So he handed me a 15mm wrench. We got that belt on there, and you saw the clip of it running, so that's good. This is a day in the life of a mobile mechanic. It's dark outside, it's starting to snow. I'm here with Mr. MacBoy, and thanks for joining us on today's video. We'll catch you on the next episode, and if you like the video, consider subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. Say, Roadside Rescue.
Roadside Rescue.
Yeah.